How to make something from one thing 1 Chapter 1, Return to randomness. Diamond and Susan ran out the Golden Hotel, but were greeted by a roaring ice monster. It was in black and white because that's how Dark Mirror was. Hey guys. What are you doing here? Have you been watching Cell? Max was flying around. He had rocket shoes that he used to fly around. He was using a very thin fire whip. The life bar of the blacktail was decreasing like molasses. If Max didn't get help soon, he was losing this video game, with 0 achievements at that. Diamond had a higher power level than even Max in this game, but as we know, Susan has never played the game before. Susan was the last child Max and Diamond had before they became angel-like creatures who can't have children. He had her right before he fought the devil in the last book. It's been a few years since then, so she wasn't really old enough to know what the Heaven Helmet was. It was basically a super sophisticated VR headset that created a simulation of Dark Mirror. They could use magic or like a training room that teleport them digitally or like magically, but Max didn't intend or like purpose to leave the house, so he used the helmet. Elizabeth was playing the game with her dad Max. All Max's kids were there, the 7. Them dogs, dem dogs. Diamond screamed and sent super rapid fireballs from both her hands, arms extended in front of her. The monster howled like a monster, screech, high-pitched, loud. Listen guys. He's just gonna try to heal, we have to find a way to make sure it doesn't sit down. Max yelled. Lindsay floated the blacktail with leaves, then Elizabeth made a pool of fire under it. It wouldn't be able to sit on a single leaf, so it would fall onto the lava. This is how this kinda always felt to Max. When we come back to life, what was life but one big, nice, neat, swell, polite, awesome, video game. Mario was still nicer in a way, but Max loved coming back to this world to kick some butt every now and then. Anyone else hungry? Ashley asked in a humorous, calm way. They all took their helmets off, they were on FaceTime. Helmets are the way to go, said Elizabeth in a humorous, calm way, just like her sister. Max loved them. They still struggled so much, but Max loved them a lot. That's what mattered. This was kinda all they did. Helmets were the way to go to meanies. They talked about it before. Elizabeth told the truth, but it was true, for today, because they felt like Susan would finally ask what Max was doing. They usually liked to go into the simulation rooms, that way it wasn't weird to the wicked. Spending all our time in heaven playing video games might seem counterintuitive, but Max pitted his kids. It taught them a lot about suffering, love, drama, romance, violence, niceness, meanness, everything. The NPCs got married. Ashley's idea. Smart kid. Lots of beings might be like romance, fuck 'em. She said it, we wrote it, we took advice, but you know what? She was a lot smarter than the wicked thought. When we ate in the game, it nourished our real bodies as well, though in heaven we didn't necessarily need food. Anyone feeling some chicken wings? Everyone laughed. Phiro, Ishal, Alex, God, a little talking hamster. We all ate some wings, barbecue, buffalo. It tasted just like meat, but it was vegan. It wasn't like imitation meat on Earth, which was still really nice, neat, swell, and polite. It tasted just like meat. Once everyone was filled up with fake meat goodness, they all teleport to the same training room, a huge room with metal walls and a wooden floor, same one from before in a way. The scene became the scene. They were just how to make something from one thing 2 inches. The men had pain mode on, like some women, but it was off for all children. To varying degrees, our heroes chose to feel pain so they could be nicer, neater beings. The blacktail intended to fake a sneeze, but it felt it was actually sneezing, was too calm, intended to sit. But the leaves wouldn't hold its weight, but once it started falling it kept falling, so it melted in the fires of Elizabeth's magical power. An NPC couple joined them, Jacob and Cynthia. They kissed. That was awesome. Lindsay and Elizabeth, What inspired you guys to think of that? They asked. They were so nice. Lovely beings, but we know there's no marriage in heaven, not to hurt us, but just to make us nicer. To prove it wasn't that mean, we had these NPCs who weren't hurt by their romance, but just weren't as fulfilled or like joyful as the unmarried in the celestial realm of Sabaoth, the little white man who watches us all. Alexandra said, we heard there were some blacktails who were getting high by eating power wires in an abandoned power plant. We feel like they shouldn't do that, Yano. So, let's go stop 'em. Nice idea, Alex. You'll be in your element. We feel you should take the lead on this one. Max said. He was Infinity and 26 years old. But he didn't look a day over 22. They all teleport to the power plant. It was Team All, Abejug, Kyle, Preston, Fyro, Ishal, Max's 7 daughters, Diamond, and an unhittable, unfeeling Susan. No pain mode, Yano? A giant lightning bolt took Alex out. Everyone's ears started ringing. Her hair became super fuzzy. Slight pain mode. We're okay. Max wept. Pain or not, he still felt bad for his own daughter. She said we're okay in a hurt, strained, pained way, but she was acting as we didn't feel pain. We all acted, her eyes looking like lightning bolts were in them. She started glowing electricity, then sent that Blacktail's attack back at it so hard it howled like a deep-voiced demon. Its life bar was at 1 HP. Susan teleported in front of the Blacktail's face so she blew fire bubbles. They only did 1 HP damage, but Yano what? To her dad it might as well have been infinity. Max kissed Susan. Oh yesh mommy, oh yesh whittle mama 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 mama, oh yesh. He didn't curse in front of his kids. That's how we know he didn't get too lost in the sauce like the Romans said. If this was real life, Max would be screaming all kinds of inappropriate curses or like swears, but his emotions were in check because he knew everyone was safe. Blacktails emerged from the shadows, chewing huge power cables. They glowed like electricity with lightning bolts in their own eyes. Max sent ice at all of them, but only one picked ice shield. The others picked electricity, fire, air, water, ice, and shadows. Lindsay had to be our secret weapon then. Blacktails had the power of teleportation, so let me tell ya, this wasn't easy. Whenever someone sent out an attack they just switch. Lindsay knew she should hide her power, so she used her sword or light gun, which we all carried, though it might not always be visible. Max used tables, chairs, cups, plates. He hit them all with a tree, but to be sarcastic, none of them re-upped their shield for plants. Lindsay knew her time was here, then sent razor-sharp rose petals at all the Blacktails. They were all halfway down. Max's gauge limit filled, so he used it to make the Blacktails repick their power shields, but in fear they all chose nature. So we let em have it. Ishal stole the show with a blizzard so cold they all froze in place, then blew up in little increments up their bodies until they were snow dust on the floor of a black and white power plant. Ha! The power of plants. Max is going to take a seat back to let some of his friends how to make something from 1 thing 3 tell their stories. They went back to the Golden Hotel, to the beach. Some things never change, we guess. Chapter 2, Lovely Light. Diana was fishing in a peaceful village. This version of Dark Mirror had more civilized societies. This was a peaceful fishing village, but still, all was black and white. The NPCs were also completely black like light or like silhouettes, though they could become more normal. So Diana made them normal because she liked how it looked. She also made everything look normal cause she wasn't Max. She was her own dog, though she loved a dog called Max. She caught many fish and kept them in a cooler to eat later with her friends. Something was wrong though. Her rod became so heavy if it weren't for magic it would have broke. A huge fish flew out the water, then started attacking the small fishing village with water attacks. Diana blinded it, then sent balls of light at it, about a fifth down. Her friend Tatiara, a talking Tyara, sent emeralds, diamonds, rubies, sapphires, garnets, onyx, lapis, and tourmaline at it. They were vertically long hexagons. About 5/6 down. The giant fish opened its mouth, sent its sticky tongue out, ate Teixeira and jumped back in the water. Diana wept, then jumped in the water to catch the fish. There were so many blacktails she surrounded herself with a light force field, then sent it out with such force it eliminated all the blacktails right away. They were small fish or like swimming plants, mean ol, rude ol, impolite ol motherfuckers. Teixeira made the inside of the fish glow, then jewels flew out of it very quickly that glowed their respective, brilliant colors. They held hands, then swam back to shore. Diana sat with her friends on the beach at night, roasting their fish. Sorry Toddy, we wish we could have helped more. Diana said. It's cool Diana. Toddy was a light-skinned black woman with long curly hair, but her normal form was again a beautiful, clean tiara. We know that thing took you off guard. Fuck it. But please be careful next time, Yano. It was our fault really. While we went hunting for firewood you were fighting our dinner. Toddy said with a quiet confidence. She smiled. They knew they weren't really in danger. Diana said, well, what do you guys think? That's one of the nastier ones we've seen. Diana said. She smiled with a quiet confidence. Poor kid, she's come a long way from pup days. There were 3 men there, Brad, Peter, and Edward, yeah, the guys from the beach. Well, one time we saw a sequoia blacktail, enormous. Brad said with a chuckle and smile. But was it big? Or was it mean and fucking worse than a big fucking fish? Diana said. She felt insecure. She missed her dad. But despite all her insistence, Max said she should get out more. Well, no. Sorry. Brad laughed. We all made mistakes, what mattered was learning from them. But man, that thing was no pushover, that's for sure. Peter said one time we saw a car blacktail, but, no. Man, we even rode in it. He laughed. Talk about a fender bender. He laughed again. Nice man. Teixeira said, well guys, we're glad we have friends like y'all. It'd be funny if we invited the NPCs. They all laughed. LOL, it was pretty funny. Diana said, yeah, well, we're glad you guys are all real, 'cause you're real awesome. What do you guys think our dad's doing? Diana said this with a quiet confidence. She was just like her dad. Tough, kind, loving, a seriously good melee player. Well. Ed started. He's probably watching your little sister in Golden Hotel. He laughed. Probably at the beach. What a nice man. We remember when we first met him. How to make something from one thing for all. Glad we fucking made it, we weren't sure there for a bit. They all laughed. Max was proud of his kid. She's come a long way from when they used to eat scraps. Diana wept a lot. They all got up and hugged. All right, come here, don't oppress the poor for they're poor. They all cried and hugged, wiped their tears and laughed. They rode dragons over the dark mirror. Max was glad Diana's dark mirror was kinda light, then he thought, that makes sense, he named her Light after all. Chapter 3, Susan. Silly shape solving. Susan stared at the shapes with a serious concentration, the kind Diamond couldn't touch. She didn't know, did the square go in the circle, square, or triangle? She picked up the cube, considered all her options. The chains of her mind were pups, baby food, Barney, Sesame Street, and Susan. She was named after a baby Max met at a beach. She was a beach ball. This Susan, however, was a beautiful little human being. The math of her mind raced. If we pick circle, it might fit, but might isn't nice enough for dear genius Susan. Square seemed more logical, but the wicked lied, they might be lying now. Triangle, looked like square with rough edges, but poison ivy looked like ivy, but rashes didn't look like normal skin. No. Max didn't let that happen, but they did watch a video. Max said, you wonder what your big sister's doing. He wept, he was just a leaky little faucet. Yeah no Susan, you were born a baby, but your sister was born a dog. A dog? Susan asked. Can we be a dog, Daddy? No our love, well. Max made her a dog. She laughed then tried sleeping. Hey silly. We gotta find out why the wicked won't tell us where the shape goes. Listen. We feel, it might be square, but if it's not, no it's the fault of the blacktails not yours. Daddy? Susan asked. Yes our love Max replied. We wish this was easier. Diamond walked over. Listen baby. We struggled with this too when we were your age, all you can do is pray, become a dog and, intend or like purpose every dang hole until we get lucky. Life's all about luck kid. Diamond said. She was a nice mom. Max loved her. She missed Cassie, our friends were busy nowadays, with Max saving the world it left everyone with a lot of free time. Diamond's hand-guided Susan's circle didn't work but square did. Susan laughed and clapped. Mommy, why didn't we have to intend or like purpose every hole? Will it fit in the last one too? Susan asked, so cute, so innocent, so mixed race. Well honey, we could cut the triangle, like another triangle, then it would fit. But, like your dad says there's a time and place for everything so we could, but it might make us sad. How come mommy, we don't intend or like purpose to make you and daddy sad? Diamond picked up her kid and wept. They knew God didn't exactly like for beings to be called dad so they usually intended or like purposed for Susan to say Max not dad but it was fine, what could be done? Well, think of it like this, if every shape looked or like felt the same, we'd be sad because there wouldn't be much variety to life. Oh. Duh. So. Susan knew, for she knew it all, but she was still so confused. Her mom picked her up and kissed her a lot. How about we go swimming baby? Diamond said. She knew Susan was smart. Shapes were dumb anyway, how often did shapes come up in real life? There were shape celestials, every celestial studied their thing forever and ever, unlike humans or like angels who were broader. Diamond laughed with her baby. Diamond made Max a nicer being. He usually how to make something from one thing 5 would have just chilled on the beach, but he felt he should swim his daughters, he saw Diamond as a daughter in a way. Wow! Diana just hooked a giant fish. Max knew psychically. Diamond got the info. Susan too. Nice for her. We just say hi to her later. Diamond said, she knew Max loved Diana, but she felt he might be too hard on her sometimes. We're dumb or like. I'm dumb we feel like, it's nice for her to be alone or like with friends but, you're right, we'll say hi to her later. How about now daddy? Diana said. Diana. Me and your mother were just talking about you. Good job on that effin' fish. Fuck bad people. Don't say effin' in front of kids. Okay fuck you. We hope that was better. Tell me, was it worse than the ocean lighting man, the upside down one? Same level, but probably a little worse. They smiled and hugged and fist bumped. Legit. Wanna swim? Max replied. Sure. We brought our friends dad. Oh shiz. What's up guys? Long time no FNC. How are we? Max said excellent sir. EFF shapes. They're pointless. Especially circles. They all laughed hard. Then swam. Kids, teen, adults, elders, flooded this beach, they named it after God. Max was too humble for all that. God's gold water nice name. The heat was burning, the sky was blue, the clouds weren't there, the sand was tan, like diamond. Max was happy. But now we was always happy, but if we think about it, he was always happy. Max held his baby, she had a sphere in one hand and the holes in the other and kept hitting the sphere on the square until it accidentally went in the circle. That's our little genius. We did it, Daddy. She hit her hand on her forehead. Oh, she smiled really big, blushed really hard, and had a million little light bulbs go off in her head at once. It's like, the circle goes. Oh my God, how obvious, but like so not obvious at the same time. She hugged her parents. You're a genius just like your parents, baby. Max said. Proud Dad. Diana held her little sister and put her on her shoulders. The camera swung and panned to the blue sky. The sun rang. Heat and cold. End of scene. Next chapter, yo. Chapter 4, Eliza's incredible inclusion of increments. Eliza the talking shirt was a character who swam with Max in the last book and gave him one of his favorite memories ever. Swimming with talking clothes in a heated pool in the snow, cannonballing off a roof, water flying in the air then landing back in the pool, laughing with friends and family. She was in a huge hedge maze. She bet Lacey, Eliza, and Joy, she could beat this maze in 10 minutes. She was moving like shirt lightning. She became a human being because she thought it'd be funny. She dashed through that maze like a rubber ball or like an etch-a-sketch or like a 3D film. She met talking rabbits with top hats, monocles, tux coats, tea, and a talking table, a talking chair, a talking potted rose, a talking sun, a talking moon, a talking turtle. They all were dressed like the rabbit. Eliza was so confident she didn't see any harm in taking a tea break. How are we, guys? So do you guys know the way out of here? Eliza asked. Sure. But what's the fun of that dear talking shirt? We know you're smart enough to figure it out. Our advice. They talked with funny, fancy accents. Posh, British even. It's shaped kinda like a snake, or like a dragon, or like a worm, or like a shoestring. The talking chair finished. Obviously, she said in a silly way with a fake mustache on. It's just, we told our friends we'd finished in 10 minutes. Obviously, they all said with a quiet confidence. Well, you how to make something from one thing six have to be fast like rabbits, a rabbit said with a wise, high-pitched, caring voice. And patient and strong like an elderly white-haired, Grandpa Tortoise. Grandpa Tortoise said. Thanks guys. Well. Don't be in a hurry our child, we'll show you the way out, said the talking Sunday really. Eliza said. She was super happy. She had a big smile on her face and she was excited to finish this bet so she could get her $20. Of course child, said the talking moon with a quiet confidence. In exchange for, knowledge that is, you know knowledge is power. Finished the talking moon. This kinda reminded Eliza of Alice in Wonderland, Auron, Cora, and some other stuff we don't know, we're not her, we're Max. So, what's the best armor a talking table could wear? Well, it depends. If you want something professional, the silent suit increased stealth and is still sleek and stylish, but if you want something bulkier, the knight's table, fits tables of all sizes, decreased movement adds to defense and is sturdy enough to last a lifetime. Eliza said. They all laughed. Come on Eliza, we're friends. We're not here to put you on trial. The tea gang went through the maze like lighting with tons of time to spare. Eliza cried, sweet woman. Thanks guys. How can we repay you? Eliza said, crying a lot. She got on her knees to bow before them. Please just give King Max our nicest regards, oh and that $20. Kidding. Unless. They all gave funny looks at each other. Duh. We'll give you your heart's weight in gold, we're just afraid you wouldn't know where to put so much gold. They cried and hugged. They went to the beach. Unlike fiction, in heaven, friends and family are forever. End of scene. Next chapter. Duh. Chapter 5, Toy Soldier Tanks. Tohiro was a little toy soldier alien. He was infinitely old, but he knew all there was to know about toy soldiers, guns, tanks, armies, and stuff like that. He was with Susan. Hi Susan. We like that you're small. We're also small. When we're small it makes the world around us seem much bigger, so being small is kinda a blessing, Yano, smiley face, Tohiro said with quiet confidence. Susan, in this life, it'll seem like there's many contradictions. To counteract these contradictions, we know God never lies, but we also know what we know love's in our heart, so no one can take it out. God would make sure meanies never knew niceness, but conversely, he would let the nice know they'll never be hurt. Tohiro said. He became a tall man with hairy arms, a beard, brown hair, bushy eyebrows, and hugged and kissed Susan. Thank Tohiro. We intended or like purposed a real, experienced soldier to tell our daughter that while war is an invention of the wicked, we can still live happy, peaceful live. Max said. He sounded happy and proud of his daughter and friend. Of course, Max. It's a pleasure and honor to be with the man who saved Dark Mirror from Satan. Tohiro said with a scruffy, quiet, nice, and confident voice. The thing was, this world wasn't necessarily digital, it was more magical, but that was surely a way to see it. Susan, we know it's a contradiction, but sometimes, war makes peace. We know it sounds crazy, but when God died, it was like a war in his mind, but you know what? Tajay said with a nice, neat, swell, polite, cool, kind tone. He won. The Lord Sabaoth, the commander of heaven's armies, won. But not with hatred or like weapons or like violence, but with like love, but love for his own enemies, so they were so ashamed they left the righteous alone forever. Susan said. Infinity was in that voice, surely and truly the daughter of the true God of how to make something from one thing. 7 Heaven, not necessarily Max's daughter, but he was glad to be her dad for sure. So true, Susan. Goo goo. Goo goo. Goo goo. Tajay kissed her, hugged her, and made a lot of silly baby noises with her, then said, "You ready, Max?" he said with quiet confidence. Of course. Max replied. He grabbed his baby, gave her some hugs and kisses and reassurances, then gave her to her mom. Love you girls. We'll be back, we're gonna go kick butt. Please be careful, husband. Love you, man. Later. Diamond said in a royal, elegant, kind, nice voice. They made out a little, then Max and Tajay vanished. They were in a town, black and white. The NPCs were silhouettes: white, black, brown, red, white, even blue. The smoke from weapons was white, the buildings were outlined, it looked like neon. God bless Diana, we love her notion of color, we just feel black and white looks nicer, neater, sweller, cooler, and all that. Max could send only the littlest missiles. But they packed a nice big punch. Poor Max. He intended or like purposed for kids to know life was about fun, not who was the strongest, for it was God anyway. God proved the same thing by dying. Max was hit by what looked like his own move, his life bar went down about 1/8. What the, he thought to himself. Look, we're not the strongest, but like, that looked just like our own attack. Max loved Little Toy Soldiers by Eminem. He also loved Till I Collapse, which started playing for the heroes to hear, not the villains. A mirror. What was a mirror doing in a battlefield? Max called in a favor and a loud shriek broke the glass of the mirror. His life bar went all the way down. The glass was clear though, for we suppose clear isn't a color. Thanks, audio. Don't mention it, buddy. Hey Max. Let's hear some poetry, huh? Sure. Under the lightning, snowy, icy, drowning sun, under the snowing, angelic, icy, snowing, angelic, icy, icy, snowy, drowning, angelic, icy, icy, snowing, angelic, icy, icy, snowing, angelic, storming sun, under the angelic, icy, icy, lightning, no less angelic, vein, snowing, angelic, vein, vein, drowning, raining, loving, icy, icy, snow, angels, ice, ice, snow, storms, 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 angels, ice, 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 snow, storms, angels, ice, 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 sun. Nice, man. Well, call if you need me again. Just Yano. They both said probably for mirrors. They laughed a lot. Something like that, love you man. Bye. They both hugged. Max said his partings, then Audio left. Max let out a pretty loud shriek, not from his mouth but aura. It rattled the blacktails a bit, for they knew he didn't have audio powers. No, he had them all, just he intended or like purposed to make sure that mirror became a reflective dust so bright, so mean, so nice, so refined, so fine, it scratch any mirror's surface so hard it became transparent or like translucent or like opaque or like two mirrors or like God bless Amaranth. Max was hit by two Blacktail, Shadowtail, God bless Anya and Furiosa, toy soldiers on roofs. His life bar was going down. He conjured a potion that reminded him of an elf man, sword man, drank it, then his life bar went up, but wouldn't go down for a minute. He spun like an elegant ice skater, ballerina kinda of thing. It wasn't really him. During this attack he transformed into an infinitely long pole that flashed like planets or like supernovae or like lightning bolts of fire or like ice or like snow angels ice ice snowstorms angels ice ice snowstorms angels ice ice ice. This sent ice everywhere, the size of a bead but the power of a bullet, fire beads, electric beads, his gauge filled. Max conjured gas masks for the fellow toy sodders. He pulled what looked like a grenade's pin from a grenade, but in reality it was a smoke light spike infinity physical, intangible, blacktail fucking eliminator. The miasma shot through then like white or like how to make something from one thing 8 purple beams of light that were touchable but not at the same time. It shot out in many different directions like a spike ball. It couldn't hurt his friends, but it had an awful, poisonous, gaseous, poisonous, 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 poisonous smell. Everyone was left with such a low life bar. The men of his army let out a loud war cry and finished them light. Bullets from ice guns, fire guns, electric guns, etc. The construction aliens who helped with the Golden Hotel from the last book came, fixed up the town, and handed out rations and supplies to the NPC townsfolk. Good job team. Tajay told his fellow soldiers. They sat just outside the town in lawn chairs drinking sodas, eating burgers, fries, and smoking ice cigarettes, fire cigarettes, etc. We intend or like purpose to especially thank Max for his efforts, Audio, Tojiro, and all of our men who helped put an end to the attack on this little coal mining village in the Midwest. Well men, to the beach. Tohiro said with loud confidence. His voice was like the quiet confidence of Gatling guns. You could hear every war, every bullet wound, every flashbang, in his voice. A tough, weathered, shield of a man. Not to be confused with Shield Joro, haha. It was hot, there was tons of food, kids having fun, young or like preteen, teens, adults, elders, the water was cold. Huobabi. Max said to Susan in a silly, goofy tone. How was the mission? We hope it went well. You're not hurt, right? Acting right. Diamond said with a big OL smile. When we got hurt, we just acted, for there was no pain in heaven. They made out a little. They were in the ocean with their little baby. It was okay. We feel like Audio was the real MVP. Max said he knew Diamond loved Audio. We love Audio. Aw, what was it like, a mirror? Diamond asked in a nice, cute, kind tone. Yes ma'am. You are so knowledgeable and smart. You remember when Audio had his fight on Dark Mirror? Max said, he knew she remembered. We never saw so much broken glass in one place. Yeah. The broom aliens worked overtime that day. They laughed and made out. They kissed their daughter. Good job daddy. You made mommy proud, so we're proud of you. Susan said, children were so mean. LOL, no she was okay, just a little misled, inherent to kids of course. Silly. Susan. Please don't talk to daddy like that, or no lollipops. Max said. Susan cried. She didn't know before but now she knew. Susan. Daddy makes us happy all the time. Where on earth did you learn to talk like that, silly? You listen to Daddy and Mommy, okay? Susan cried and hugged her parents. Then her mouth was filled with lollipops, her parents kissed her cheeks, then the screen closed like a black circle on Susan's cute, round face, then went to close the circle to all black. End of scene. Next chapter. Chapter 6, Diamond's designer directions. Well, you'll have to watch Susan cause you know we have a fashion show. You'll be there, right? Diamond asked. She cried, she hugged Max and rubbed his fat tummy. She'd miss him. Susan misinterpreted her mom's tears. It's not cause Dad hated her, it's because she loved him a lot. Happy tears, really? Of course. Well, if you need our little genius, we'll be building sandcastles, or something like that. Max put fake mustaches on him, Susan, and Diamond. There was still making out in heaven cause God was cool like that. If you don't think so, that's cool, man. To us, yes. Obviously. Fucking obviously. If you're just a jerk about it, fuck you, Cool. Anyway. How to make something from one thing. 9 Max loved Diamond, so no one was going to tell him he couldn't kiss his own wife. They made out again and hugged tightly, closely, and lovingly. They stopped and smiled at each other for 2 seconds, then Diamond vanished. Well, baby. Max lifted Susan up and down. Susan cried. She missed her mom. Max's friends came to give them company. Max fed Susan broccoli, a sandwich, crackers, cheese, and a milk on the beach. Then she was happy, but she still missed Mom. Max kissed his baby for 2 seconds on the forehead, then the scene changed to Diamond at the backstage of a prestigious fashion show. Hey everyone. We just intend or like purpose to say from the bottom of our heart, thanks for taking part in our fashion show. We stayed up long nights, though we know there's no sleep in heaven, but we all love to sleep. Everyone laughed. It was the fashion aliens. Eliza, Lacey, Eliza, Joy, Max, a lovely pair of pants other Max met at the pool, and Jason were there. We put our blood, sweat, and tears into these designs. Thank you for your constant and unending support, love, kindness, niceness, neatness, prayers, inspiration. Diamond said. She was so happy. Max would have been glad to hear it. He was showing Susan how to play volleyball whilst she questioned why the net wasn't lower, the court wasn't smaller, and why Daddy himself was not a huge edible, chocolate volleyball. Diamond wept. She missed her family. We're your family too, Mrs. Rainbow Call. No offense. We all love Max and Susan. But we know it'll cheer you up to hear your husband and baby will be here for the actual show. A talking clothes rack said, but he was gay, and a human being man, he's called Racky. God loved gays. Max never knew what the Christians were on about. Diamond wiped her tears. Thanks, Racky. You are the nicest, neatest, kindest, most generous clothes rack we've met, no offense to the other clothes racks here. Diamond said incredulously but with love and kindness. The other clothes racks motioned to let everyone know they weren't offended. You got the biggest rack, if you know what we mean. Diamond said, and everyone laughed, and Racky shook his chest as a joke and everyone laughed and copied him. Well guys. The show's in half an hour, it'll take about 20 minutes to show all our new designs. This isn't our first rodeo, friends. Look fabulous. Elegant. Majestic. Powerful. Empowered. Magical. Happy. Make sure we eat. Like our cute dear baby Susan. Mommy gave her broccoli, a sandwich, crackers, cheese, and a nice, tasty, nutritious, delicious, bone-strengthening, healthy, happy, filling, cooling milk. Racky said, you are our mother, Diamond. You are the best mom ever and we love you. We wish we could give birth, but we love our trans friends like some of the members of our loving, kind, wonderful, self-empowered, and self-motivated team. They all cheered and clapped. Thank you, Raki. They kissed each other on the cheeks. Okay folks. Let's start getting ready. Diamond yelled with joy, pride, love, kindness, love for Susan, love for Max, but most importantly love for God. Everyone walked around hurriedly, a lot of the models made their way to the food table, people were checking the lengths of clothes to make sure they were just right, making sure the chairs looked organized and neat, they checked the lighting, made sure the cameras were ready to live stream, and Diamond called her family. Hi guys. We're just getting ready to do the big show. It'll be soon. Will you be here? Kidding. Obviously, but like, can you come early? Diamond asked. She cried, she missed them a lot. Sure thing, kiddo. We can go right now if you want. Max asked. He felt bad for her and cried. She with red teary eyes nodded with difficulty through grief, and Max and Susan appeared. They hugged and made out. Eventually the fashion show started. The Celestials How to Make Something from One Thing 10 showed off some of the cutest, prettiest, most beautiful designs you ever saw. Max loved Diamond and he was happy for her. Good job, mommy. Susan said. Susan was wearing a dress Diamond designed. It was blue with flowers on it, and diamonds. Susan was born of her mother, but babies weren't made like that anymore. Max loved his daughter, but he had some shame. Did he love her more because she was born from him and his wife? Max didn't miss sex, but he felt bad for anyone reading this who couldn't quite understand why there wasn't marriage in heaven. So he dedicated this next chapter to them. Chapter 7, Mostly Marriage. Diamond's fashion show went really well. People clapped, the designs were nice, Susan enjoyed the whole thing a lot. Some of the dresses or like designs had real fire, real ice, real electricity, apples, oranges, grapes. Diamond even made a dress with tears, basically to poke fun at the fact she cried a lot cause she missed her husband a lot. Diamond was, not to be weird, a real woman to Max. She always held her mistakes against her. In a way this was Max's wife, even though there wasn't sex, that made her more his wife because it proved he wasn't just with her for sex. Max loved her a lot. She wasn't always her nicest, to her, to meanies, she just had her off days. Days where she didn't want to be around anyone, days where she liked to be more alone than she maybe should be, days where she felt not pretty even though she was honestly really pretty. Max still pitied her a lot though. It was hard to say why, it was kind of a secret, but the fact still stood. Even on her meanest days he was still there for her. He missed her when she was gone. He prayed a lot for her and for all his friends. Diamond got some of the most talented musicians to play at her fashion show, rap, pop, indie pop. It was a nice, neat, good, and great time. He cared about her. She felt like he blamed her when we was anxious or like depressed. Things would scare her that she just didn't understand. But he knew she meant well. And he'd helped her through it. She sometimes felt like it was impossible to stop being anxious. It was impossible to stop being anxious. Max thought while watching the fashion show. Anything's possible, Diamond. He loved her. To stop being anxious isn't just knowing the last thing, the most important thing in a thought process that stop anxiety, and that's what she taught him. When the anxiety stopped and she knew the difference between anxiety and depression, and Max liked that about her. Anxiety was kind of a cool word, like that Logic song. She loved Max a lot. She missed sex, we're sure, but there was nothing they could do about that. There was no sex in heaven and we knew God was right about that. Max pitied her though. For example, beings would always tell him it's I not we, stupid. Sorry if you ever told us that. No, we don't agree. We is a more beautiful, open-ended word. We love the word we. Isn't it kind of hypocritical? If we don't say we should never say it. We don't know, It can also be really offensive to not say we, but beings don't think of that because they're too obsessed with I, well, since they like it so much. I don't care, they're coincidentally right, that's it. Anyway, the fashion show had a disco ball, smoke, laser lights, people smiled, laughed, sang, danced. It made her happy. Max pitied her. She never had an easy life, she complained too much, but you know what? She was right. Gays, bi, gender fluid, pansexual, all went to heaven, this she knew. But her church always said it how to make something from one thing 11 wasn't true. She had a hard time with discernment, disassociation, projecting, humor, everything, but through all her flaws Max loved her. She smoked still, she drank still, but it was okay, she didn't know what she was doing, so Max pitied her, he loved her. When we love people, even if they don't talk to us, even if they sleep all day, even if we wish they were better, we help them, because of things they did. We don't flatter, not things they're doing, but things they did, things no one can take away. If someone does a lot of good, but stops, the good things they do aren't undone. They're just left there, unlike what meanies say. You're just like us now. But you can't undo the nice things human beings do, they're there, you can't change the past. But you can change your future. Her biggest flaw, he felt, was comparing herself to beings who she wasn't comparable to. They didn't make compelling arguments, they weren't smart, but she felt they were. She felt. We made it to heaven because we're a woman. It's not anything nice we did. How fucking dumb. Fucking unfortunately women didn't always make it to the fucking, pearly fucking, so offensive, but for what? That's how far gone she was sometimes. Max pitied her, she didn't even realize how inappropriate this'd be to say in public, but he pitied her still. It was more okay to say in public than she thought. Diamond loved the word we. Max was mad at her. Elizabeth also wasn't being very nice, but to cheer her up, he intended or purposed to write her a story, but, when he opened the book he saw his wife's fashion show, he was mad. He didn't want to finish it, but he missed her, and ya know what, from reading one probably couldn't even tell he was mad at her. That's what he was intending or purposing to tell her. It didn't matter. Then what? Meanies say. Oh, it's not you. What do the wicked know of the words of the kind? But still he was patient with her. She was a woman, and that wasn't nothing. Often we did help women and children in a special way, unlike men. But the same way there were an infinite amount of women in heaven, there were an infinite amount of men. The order matters there. It's offensive because meanies are the ones who said it, the very same ones who read the last few words we've written. Things weren't offensive just 'cause they were offensive, say the wicked. They were offensive because they were easily offended, wanted to be offended by nice, neat, swell, polite, good, great things. They were raising a child. By this point Max thought he'd be talking about an NPC couple who had sex, but he was happier with what he'd written so far, kind words to his wife to remind her she was still a nice, neat, good, and great person. She had a beautiful face, perfect teeth, a beautiful smile, a nice pretty forehead, long well-kept hair. Her tresses were logs in waters in tears of the kingdom. Her tresses were rows of stars shaped like sushi at a sushi bar. Her tresses were the children she bore. He pitied her. She wouldn't always believe it, they'd fight, they'd argue. But she'd just do it 'cause she thought it was trendy, cool, everyone did it. But when she looked back in her more honest moments, whether she was nice or even mean, she knew it wasn't Max's fault. If she was mean it was her fault, but even if she was mean it was still the wicked's fault, because a mean beings can be forgiven but not a wicked one. Pure heroin by Lord was like actual heroin, am I right? There's that word the wicked love so much. Ribs is an anthem about not intending or purposing to grow older, wanting an education, but a more worthwhile one that lead to joy, not a boring office job, where we were bombarded by the constant incessant tones or rings of office supplies, keys clacking, how to make something from one thing, 12 printers humming, phones ringing, indistinct chatter like the echoes of the purgatory of our mind, clock out, drive home, no Bible, no love, no church, no religion, no spirituality, no Christianity, no preaching, no pulpit, no baptisms, but secular suffocation, no spiritual sophistication, but overly sexual solicitation, no solid solidification, said Diamond. Max loved her. He truly liked it. She was insecure about her smarts, her knowledge, but she was a lot like this book. Beings might not like the way we talk, but again, imagine if we never said we. Diamond was the same. She felt dumb for not saying I, not we, but those beings were hypocrites. At the end of the day, she was a smart, cute, charming, honest, kind woman. When we lets the indistinct chatters of ghostly infidelity creep in our brains, the only step left is to hate a sensible quote like no solid solidification, but the polar opposite was true as well. To Christians there was no alliteration, rhyming, music, shows, movies. It has to be Christian or it just isn't nice or like need. No cursing. Talk about Noah's Ark. Talk about Moses. But don't talk about Solomon's wives or like Uriah or like the more offensive parts of the Bible. Diamond knew, so she was smarter than the world, and the church, and there was no one else. She loved the day, but Max loved night. She felt wrong for not agreeing, but this was a subjective matter. When she didn't feel pretty, she'd exaggerate till she believed it. The thing is, the appearance is not all that matters. But for a woman, it makes more sense. For example, St. James writes, the one with no faith looks in a mirror, but forgets what they look like when they look away. A man utterly looking at a mirror all the time, to us, is disgraceful. But a woman, she does make up for what? Hours, maybe not after her makeup's done, maybe a little, like men look at themselves a little, but hours was a long time compared to 0 seconds, 0 minutes, 0 hours, 0 days, 0 weeks. Max's friends would get it. Diamond's friends from the beach. We all are special, we're all smart. Don't let anyone tell you when you rapture or like say something exciting it wasn't, when everything faith, and nothing's really provable. Raptures, excitement, faith, hope, and love, are all we have. Mostly marriage. Max's alliteration. Diamond loved it a lot, and he loved her again. This chapter was going to be 2 NPCs who were married to talk about sex, because again, there's no sex in heaven. Max did feel, he hated to say it, but he felt like this was mostly a marriage. It was mostly good, it was mostly great, or that's how Diamond felt he saw it, but this was marriage. They loved each other, and this chapter cheered her up a lot. It's all he asked for, his friends too. We say this because the chapter's now over. That's how much things can change, but when they change, let them change, because change fosters growth, and growth fosters love, true love, which is never broken. True love's kiss is a common theme in media of Earth. We don't know about generations before us, but probably, Max loved probably in Diamond's funny tone, when we feel true love's kiss, every spell. Every spell. Diamond said. Every spell, they both said together, is broken. End of chapter. God bless Paper Mario. Next chapter please. Chapter 8, Chimney Children. All the main characters from the last book became toddlers. They started telling each other jokes. Oak said okay, so a tree walks into a bar. Gets hammered, leaves and gets in his car. The car turns upside down, a giant fake mustache gets put on it. It's Mario's mustache. Then he tells us all how awesome he is. We bow down, and we become Mario. Hilarious. How to make something from one thing. 13 Insightful, funny, cute. Okatha said, who by this point was technically a very old leafer. A giant fake mustache, might be real, humble, sweeps the street, it gets drunk, quits his job, joins the circus, burns all his hair off, and he was secretly a hand-sized mustache this whole time. He gets married to a lady mustache, they have a baby and the baby's so small they forgive his dad for lying about being a big mustache. Comedy. Snowball said so a giant fake mustache had a hard life, was insecure about their jokes, thought humor wasn't everything, they were fucking wrong. They became the biggest comedian in the world, skydived into a volcano, and tons of hand-sized fake mustaches shoot out, the atoms drown in it, they become mustaches, and they lied. They were actually all smooshed and put together to make the big fake mustache from the other joke. Nice. Not bad at all. Joy said so a giant fake mustache works an office job, he quits to pursue interpretive dance, he headlines Madison Square Garden. Vegas. LA. Eventually he quits it all to grow mustache plants in his humble backyard. A nice house but not that big. When he eats it, he gets high, gets the munchies, and eats all the food in his fridge, he goes back to dance and is accepted everywhere and beings really welcome his comeback. He made enough to fill his fridge again. Barely, 'cause he spent the rest on books on how not to spend almost all one's money on almost not filling their fridge after accidentally eating all their food for the week in a day 'cause they got high. Funny. Max appreciated them, but on a more serious note. Humor is a worthwhile, but difficult, and precarious endeavor. Max didn't know it at first but he wrote this in pity to his friends who kept comparing his baby to Stewie. At first they didn't mean anything by it, they even made it a little woman not man, but we'll be the first to say we're not the biggest fan of Family Guy, we feel it's inappropriate, crude, rude, mean, and just indescribably bad. Evil. Fucking, we try to get along, it had its moments we guess, but it's not good and in a way it has never had a moment. Max didn't even think of comparing this to Family Guy at first but he noticed toddlers talking about alcohol, idiots will still be offended, then act dumb when they realize these are actually infinitely old beings, that makes all the difference. Family Guys has lots of problems, the kid is way too young, mocks the overweight, women, Christians, Muslims, Jews, the disabled, church, the Bible, kindness, love, hope, faith. It's shameful to think such a disgraceful show or like any fucking show like it, is really appropriate to watch. We plan to have the kids slowly age over time but we feel this made a really nice point so we'll leave it there. God bless. Anyway. Fuck all man. Fuck all. Anyway. God bless again. Much love. And next scene please. Chapter 9, Anime Action. Anime is the ultimate form of pop culture. Anime is in a tier all its own over pop culture. Anime is inspiration itself, a fire unwilling to be doused by any kind of snow or like ice or like water. When we watch anime, we watch ourselves for, true inspiration falls like snow, flowers grow in the soil of our heart when we see a great fight scene. An interestingly animated scene like the red blue light, L scenes from Death Note, when we feel like we're in the class, hugging the girl, breathing ice fire or like ice smoke or like smoking ice smoke from ice whoopee pens, the comfort of friendship will never be outweighed by the weight of anxiety or like depression. Heaven was like one big dream. Sometimes as we mentioned, blacktails aren't too ugly, but can look normal and even cool. This is the story of a high-speed chase across the galaxy, how to make something from one thing 14 planet-sized blacktails, Ashley's Hunger, Niagara the Face Miss Celestial, a black and white kind of rainbow road, an actual rainbow road full credit to Mario Kart, explosions, and on a seriously somber and kind note rest in peace to Akira Toriyama. Max. Bad news. Some planet-sized blacktails are reported to be making a serious ruckus and commotion over Dark Mirror, we have to stop them. Kyle said. Kyle was a drill alien all called Kamina from Gurren Lagann, Preston, or Simone was his brother, also from Gurren Lagann. Shit. Well, let's go. Max replied. They were at the beach. Space was black and white, such a bleak, ugly place this was. But so pretty at the same time. They were standing on a light road, Black and white, it was tessellated with patterns of dragons and ouroboroses. There were very intricate and beautiful animations that flickered on it like a hologram. Racer was there, their friend, an infinitely old, infinitely young, race car. He ran on liquid light. Why, he was born a mere Hot Wheel if you can believe it. We gotta hurry, man. They're almost here. Racer said. We know it's space, but bear with us. The blacktails were coming into view, and fast. They were going to lead them away and try to eliminate them. Max and Kyle jumped into Racer. He became the slickest, sleekest, race car you ever done saw. They started bolting super fast. The road was materializing under them, but eventually it became visible and the blacktails were trying to break it, but Racer was so fast he could essentially fly over the gaps in the road. Max and Kyle got on Racer when they were close to the blacktails and started their attack. Max sent lightning bolts, not much damage, but the blacktails got scared and so put up electric shields. What Max lacked in physical power he made up for in strategizing, intimidation tactics, fear tactics, and wisdom. Kamina sent some huge drills at them. This sent their life bars down a really nice amount. Just then another road appeared next to them. There was a blacktail shaped like a race car with blacktails shaped like men shooting AK-47s at them. They had to use force fields and jump, but there wasn't much room to dodge. Racer wasn't very large and they didn't intend or like purpose to fall off. Suddenly when we called in reinforcements, the blacktails copied us. They had the same amount of beings as us, but now they weren't just humans, they were trees, tables, spoons, forks. Fuck these motherfuckers, honestly. Ashley was there. She sent huge torrents of water at the blacktails, huge cylindrical water currents at them. They did some serious damage and their life bars decreased. Our friend Niagara came for emotional support. They were in Rakura. Racer's sister. She was a face mist alien. She was able to increase Ashley's power, but like the clothes aliens, makeup aliens didn't specialize in combat. The blacktails were so big, they didn't even have to like move. But like, it's open-ended for a reason, a nice one. Fucking, gravity didn't work as usual or we would have been sucked into their gravitational pull. Look guys. Max started. We feel like we're going to have to somehow get on these blacktails. Max thought of it like dominoes. If we took the smaller ones out, the big ones would obviously soon follow. Alex had to use her pistol because the blacktails had electric shields up. God damn it. Their life bars are hardly going down. We need to make sure they keep away from Earth. Alexandra said. Do moons count as planets? XD, we love the concept but man. Anyway. Lindsay sent huge sequoias at the moon or like planet-sized blacktails. Their life bars were going down, but it looked like they'd need a miracle to get this done. We have an idea. How to make something from one thing, 15 said Niagara with a quiet confidence. We might be able to make one drown Ash. If we turn their friends to water they might drown, like, not actually but like, they'll feel bad for their friends so they'll pretend to drown to eulogize them, then the others will see it drowning, and get scared. Niagara felt bad that she wasn't trained in combat, but she loved her life. She liked Ashley a lot and they even knew each other while Max was on Dark Mirror. After the women left the beach, the aliens greeted them to comfort them in the fact life wasn't always about fighting but equally about helping those who fight. No sarcasm, no unnecessary use of the word do or like italics for the sake of italics, but true, pure, watery, Niagara love. Eliza was in the passenger seat with Niagara. She put a water-light dress on Ash. Niagara sprayed her with a special mist that sprayed light rose petals, light thorns, and lightning bolts. She put thorns in it, which was the first time she did this. To meanies, no, it was symbolic or like metaphorical, but anyway she had a rubber duck made of light or like something. She just missed her duck a lot and loved water. The Fire by Eden started playing on Rakura's radio. There were many roads, and many racers of all kinds on both sides of the indifferent coin. Ashley turned one of the cars and its riders into water, then sent it like watery lightning in a planet's mouth. It pretended to drown, but it happened so fast the other planets didn't realize he was lying. When they thought he was serious, he thought he was serious, then actually just effing conked out right then and there. One planet down. 9 to go. They were fighting intensely. Tables were so hard to the fist. Max lit a table on fire, then threw it at a car and it careened off the road and fell like lightning to the bottom of the universe, where it blew up, or like it might have went through the bottom of the universe through the top and kept going like that. Perhaps the universe had no edge, but Max felt it was unlikely. Max was hit by a fireball so hard he had to hang on to Racer from where the window went down. Racer pushed his window up so hard it popped Max back on the roof. Kyle screamed. "This time you goddamned motherfuckers are fucking finished, no." Kyle screamed. "That was redundant, you effin' meffin' b-word a word firm fur," screamed the planet. "Not quite like that, but we had a heart." Kyle summoned a planet-sized drill that fucked that man all the way upwards. It was slow on its head, then shot like lightning down. 8 left. Preston followed suit. He did the same thing. His drill was covered in fire, water, miasma, electricity, midnight cities, snow-clad charcoal mountains with cloud rings around the summit, abstract disappearing laser wands, upside-down philosophies, copies of God, crosses, Bibles, churches, but most importantly, love. It's time you goddamn die. This ends. No. Ag. 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 Preston clasped his hands together and brought them down so fiercely and convincingly the drill fell like lightning. Then we perhaps blew up at the edge of eternity. Elizabeth was there. She had a friend called Hadlizabeth. They both sent fire mirrors at a planet that bounced like a game of lightning pong, or like upside-down swimming pools, or like skydiving, freediving into a pool from the top of eternity, or like charades, or like mimes, or like paintings blowing up like the forevers of the fiery, blazing, luminous, ember, burning, volcanic, magma, lava, heated, reflective heart of the soul's deepest wet spirit, but wet with the fires of the wettest. Firest fire. How to make something from one thing. 16 It surrounded the planet with a vortex, or like spiral, or like helix of fire that became a huge fiery hollow sphere that engulfed it with unhollow fires. The ashes fell like lightning to the bottom of the universe. They high-fived and hugged. Max was a proud dog in that moment, let us tell ya. They hugged. They looked kinda similar too. They sat and waited for everyone else to take the rest of the planets out. They planned to join again, but that attack used all their magic power. They ate some sandwiches. Ashley stole their sandwiches and they argued for a bit. Dummies. Max made some more sandwiches for them as there were no food aliens around. Max's cage would probably be filled by the last planet. A Beiju made huge wings that sent such a hard gust at a planet, it fought long and hard, screaming, being gross, silhouetted. The feathers came off like broken glass, or like ripped Bibles, or like broken churches, or like fireballs, or like bubbles that blew up so hard they disoriented the planet. It lost its grip on space and time and flew away and hit the side of the universe like lightning. It blew up and fell like snow, or like glitter, or like rainbows on the iridescent, effervescent, luminescent, crystal-shaped heart of God. Another way we can think of this is the roads spiraling around a planet. So we meant like just really big, but metaphors help us understand and know ourself. We'd teleport and fight. Susan wasn't there cause people were cursing, but Yano, we don't like fucking Yano. If some people curse around kids, we don't judge, man, we get it, fuck judgy people. Angel hit a planet with another huge ice planet. She's come so far. Good job, Aang. The planet got a brain freeze. Listen. Started the planet. If you people stop, we'll leave the dark mirror alone and go back to the galaxy we come from. Bullshit, replied Ang, we weren't born yesterday AI. She made ice, snowy blizzards blow from inside the planet like a spike or like webs or like unconnected dots. Eventually the whole planet froze over. How'd you know we were lying? It said with a breath that was passing away like a breeze. It's simple. You're shallow. Like, why were you going in the first place? Why'd you mock your sizes? Why have you never done the right thing? Angel said. We suppose it was obvious, wasn't it? He replied. His life bar emptied, then he fell like lightning to the bottom of the universe, the underworld, the grave, Sheol, a place of bones, or like fucking death or like fucking decay. 4 left. Hadika and Hadley were riding in Speedara, Racer's other sister. They had a big family. On top was of course Angel and baby Susan. People decided to stop cursing so the baby could come. She was held by Angel because her mom was late. Poor Diamond, she was weary of Susan going. It was just a game. Attica put a hat on Susan made of the finest materials, the side of a cosmic, celestial, galactic, interstellar, astral, spiritual, religious, rainbow rain caused by a black tail hitting the side of the universe. That was King of Ages BT dubs. Hadika was a nice, kind, awesome woman. This was written International Women's Day by the way, so God bless. She loved clothing and had many successful clothing lines. She specialized in comfort and style, but was no stranger to armor and making babies stronger. She gave Susan a triangle sandwich and a few slices of a green apple. Susan's mouth watered at the thought. Angel held Susan up, and Susan with a fierce, angry, silly, goofy, cute, and small face extended her arms like her mom and sent shapes at the black tail. She knew where the shapes went, and Max was never prouder. Max was handling the riders because the planets were too big to hurt. Susan also hit the riders. Sorry, we forgot to mention. She wasn't going to hurt the giants too much. The Blacktails laughed at their member who was hit by the smallest baby the side of a very how to make something from one thing 17 successful talking hat, Hadika. But God bless Hadley, it's just Yano, we were talking about Hadika, so no offense, we don't really know why we'd be talking about Hadley, but it's a test Yano, so if you said no or dumb both or like all or like one, cause this test is fucking stupid, you know what, you pass. Diamond kissed her daughter and knocked many cars off the path. They fell like lighting to the bottom of nowhere, or like everywhere, or like anywhere, or like she used Yano, fire hula hoops. The Blacktails were being inappropriate because she had to charge them by hula hooping, but you know what, fuck em. Hula hooping was one of Diamond's favorite things. She loved to do it with Susan, and Max also loved to join and watch in a not fucking weird way cause that's his wife. There were still 4 left. Hadley wept. She didn't know if Aang had enough magic power for another huge attack. It's okay. Aang peeked her head while sitting on the roof. They were going about 900 miles per hour. They held hands. You are awesome. Thanks for helping us out. We heard you make the best shoes and gloves anyone can find. When this is over, do you think you could shoot a pair? Aang asked with a smile. Such a nice, sweet woman. Max loved her and she did good defeating that planet. Thank you. Hadley said with a soft smile. We suppose you're going to trade out for someone else. Hadley said, feeling a lot more optimistic and hopeful. She was sad cause she was going to miss Ang. But she didn't know it. We took acting seriously, we could have suspended belief and had them hug, but this fast. Plus, we were never hurt. We only acted hurt, so sticking to realism, they were really best friends. They talked a little more and Angel left. Angel was replaced by Orchestra, a music alien. Hi Speedara. First and foremost, we'd love to thank you for your steady and accurate driving during this difficult and trying test. Second, we love your hair. We saw how you look. So tall, skinny, with beautiful curly black long hair. Thanks. Have you seen Death Note? Speedara replied. We have. We feel it really captures the themes of suspense, mystery, thriller, justice, power, control, and love and romance. Orchestra, pronounced orc, replied. Right. We just. Speedara wept, but we couldn't see, the pain of being a car. We intend or like purpose to watch it when we get back if you want. But we totally agree, no offense. Speed said. None taken. We have a bit of time, not much but no offense. Orchestra said. No, yeah, we just wanted to say you're right and we feel it's the best anime ever and yeah, love you, God bless, good luck. Speed said fast and funnily. Thanks. Orchestra replied. She blushed, she thought Speed was funny, a lot like her brother. Orchestra summoned a huge orchestra that played behind her while they raced. The Blacktails kept yelling insults and flinging magic powers, but they deflect them with their instruments. This is the end for you, you big ol ugly motherfucker. Susan and Diamond had left by now, no cursing around the baby. They were with Max actually. This was Orchestra talking. How dare you fucking ask why we know you're mean? It's obvious, if you're not nice. You're mean. You mean ol rude son of a fucking impolite motherfucker. Orchestra finished strongly and hilariously. How dare you speak to us like that, Orchestra? We even know who you are, our kind have hurt the music aliens so much, but you still dare to say such insolent nonsense to us? This is the end of your orchestra, the planet said. That wasn't even fucking clever. Orchestra replied. The orchestra sent relatively fast-moving music notes at the monster that, while beautiful while traveling, became disharmonious, ugly sounds when they landed that were so loud and calculated to discombobulate it screamed in pain. Music staffs wrapped around it like stars or like comets or like rings or like drunken sounds of the syncopated orchestral halo. It how to make something from one thing. 18 blacked out, its life bar dropped and it fell like lightning and hit the bottom of the universe with a symphonic sound. Spectacular. 3 left. Shield Joro sent beams of a sun alien at a planet like a mirror from Zelda and it burned straight through it. The Blacktail wished he'd brought sunglasses, but he left them at home, kidding. Anyway. Fucking, it sent shields that flew like boomerangs that created hugely loud resounding sounds, not loud enough to be painful, but loud enough to be heard for sure. How can something made to defend offend? Said the Blacktail. You were made to defend God, but you're being offensive as hell. Shield screamed. In fact, he continued. He sent shields that were round at the planet like lightning bolts, but blue lightning that were so cold they could defend anyone. The planet choked on the smoke, intending to deflect the shields but lost his hands in the process. Stop. Please. We'll do anything, just please stop, the planet said. Repent, Shield replied. Anything but that, the planet said. It sounded like he was surely having a mean, rude, impolite time. Then to goddamned hell with you, you fucking son of a bitch. Shield yelled, weary of Diamond's fury. He sent such a huge shield it cut the planet in half horizontally, but because of gravity the halves fell lopsided like a hologram, intersecting like dark mirror, then fell like lightning to the bottom of the universe, where it blew up or like became like ice or like snowstorms. Angels ice ice snowstorms angels ice ice snowstorms angels ice ice ice. 2 left. Max had to remind Diamond to be nicer, but he appreciated her intentions. She was just mad. She might let one slip around a kid, but it was in the past. She still held it against her though. Max's gauge was almost filled. Oak used crown shyness to intensify light beams on a planet like a magnifying glass. Upside down lighting storms angels ice ice snowstorms angels ice ice snowstorms angels ice ice snowstorms angels ice 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 surrounded the planet. He used giant vines to break the surface of the planet like an earthquake. One question, how many people have you hurt? Oak yelled, crying, red, angry, resolved, stern, unmoving, appreciable, joyous, happy tears. Really? Why should we answer or like even know that? Countless. That's just a wild guess though. You drunken fool. You remind of us of a man who proclaimed to know all the secrets of God, a man to claim to be a great philosopher. But in the end he was no man. He was a sham, a damned sham. Nobody and fucking filth just like yo. Oak screamed, he had had it. The vines crushed the planet, the whole scene was black or like white. The planet was black, the background was white. Damn, it said, while fucking passing away. It then fell to the bottom of forever where it spawned from, like goddamn hell spawn it was. Max's gauge filled. What does this pathetic, puny, weakling Max want? We've heard so much about you, how you were so great. How you were so strong. You don't seem so strong to us. You seem like nothing, less than nothing. If trash like you were in our trash can, we'd be offended. The king of the planets said. You sure damn talk a lot for someone who has nothing to say. Max used his gauge field to send such a huge light beam at the planet it enveloped the whole thing and became ash. This was weird. Max's gauge wouldn't go down. You did it, buddy. Listen, we feel like you should give yourself a little more power, and a little more credit. We always knew you could do it. Love ya, kid. God said. They hugged. We love you, man. Thanks. Max said, and God smiled and disappeared. Looky here, looks like Maxie has a new toy to play with. Abijah said nicely and humorously. How to make something from one thing. 19. Make sure you don't use that thing on us, huh? Said Kyle. Yeah. We're not planet-sized, so that thing would take us out like lightning. Preston said in a silly, funny way. He also made a goofy, obvious face. Max loved all of them. Good job, everyone. Dark Mirror is safe again. And wait, something the beach. And they were at the beach. Something. Good job, kiddo. You really made your dog dad proud, Elizabeth. Max said, pride and joy in his timbre and throat. Thanks, Daddy. She cried. She drank a beer. Not Max's favorite, but Diamond did too. It was okay, different strokes we guess. Well, go play with you friends, baby. Max said. They hugged, and Elizabeth frolicked away. Liz, we're proud of you, kid. We all, accept our places, but we're all still important. Baby's good. Toddlers waddled around, getting used to walking, talking, laughing, and building sand castles. Kids played frisbee, teens played in the water, adults played volleyball, elders still looked young, or like sometimes they looked old. Anyway, everyone was happy. Max kissed Diamond. Good job, babe. And good job to you, little mommy. Max and Diamond made out. No sex in heaven, but Liz, Ash, Ang, a badge, KY, President. What was there was still even greater than he could ever know. End of chapter. Please next scene. Chapter 10, Rainbow Rivers. Mr. and Mrs. Rainbow call intended or like purpose to go whitewater rafting, but there was always a catch with mean silhouetted figures called blacktails. Max, Diamond, Ishal, Phiro, and Eliza went on a raft, but the blacktails made the scene black and white like neon, with giant jagged dangerous rocks, whirlpools, and a waterfall at the end with an impending, inherent, ticking, talking, timer. Occasionally our usual black and white scene would become different colors. These different colors represented a change in natural disasters or like black magic that would affect our heroes adversely, but perhaps they could twist that black magic to their advantage in these white waters. Aw shit. Max started. By this point it flashed red, blue, green, and yellow. It looked like these were the only colors that were going to flash, and it was utterly random which one would appear. Red meant fires were shot. Blue meant the waters would become rowdy and rambunctious. Green meant leaves and flora would attack Team All, and yellow meant bright lights would impair their vision, and beams of yellow light shot them which depleted their life bars. Red again. Duck. Max said, fear and trembling in his voice. A huge flash of fire shot out at their inflatable raft. It singed the top of Max's afro. He'd been meaning to get a haircut, but this wasn't exactly what he had in mind. The blacktails were on rafts attacking them with guns, Their life bars were going down, lucky they brought so many potions and elixirs. Diamond retaliated with fireballs, fire tiaras for Teixeira, fire diamonds, and fire trampolines for Max's stomach. Max was touched, he didn't know she'd been training like that. Max got them to put up electric shields, he figured it'd work to get them to agree on a shield because water was such a strong conductor of electricity. Fyro sent 2 fireballs out his fists like punches. They did some fucking lethal damage. 2 more blacktails fucking passed away under that summer sun. A hot summer day, not a cloud in the sky, Max was hit with a fireball that burned him pretty bad. His life bar was at yellow, but a fairy how to make something from one thing 20 alien came out oh his backpack like Zelda. Max thanked her, she basically said you're welcome and teleport out. Listen Max. What do you think we gotta do? We intended or like purpose to leave the raft, but we were unable to. Fyro said, worry, but confidence in his teary, dry, wet, sandy desert-like storm of a voice. We feel like, we might have to actually switch rafts with the blacktails, but not only that, we have to get them in ours, surely before we reach that huge waterfall, if not, well. Max laughed weakly, he knew it was only a test, homework, to the wicked, it didn't matter if it wasn't traditional work, they lived these experiences to learn from them, and he loved his friends for taking these things seriously, they took all kinds of work seriously, he missed them, he intended or like purposed to see them so he knew he couldn't give up. We're toast, he said weakly, his life bar was filled but, he still felt pain from the fireball, even when it seems all's going well, there's still so many roadblocks or like caltrops blocking the path to true joy, condescending, patience, love, romance, friendship, family, parenthood, adventure, imagination, discernment, more patience and still more. We might be able to use the blue light's water effects to get close enough to the blacktails so that we can steal their raft. They might be aware of this, but they might not, so it might not flash until the end. If it doesn't, we'll lose all our loot, items, skills, EXP, magic. She cried. We worked really hard to get all that stuff, we don't intend or like purpose to start over, do we team all? She said with bravado, chutzpah, confidence, kindness, and love. No way. Everyone replied, listen Diamond, we have gloves that can turn fire into water attacks, it'll detract your offense and defense though. Eliza said. Thanks. We might have to if the blue light doesn't shine. They hugged. Ishal sent some feather-shaped ice blades at the blacktails. It was for a Beiju, at the beach probably, he was nicer than us, love him, we were told to do this by ourselves, when things are too easy, we feel it takes the reward of challenge out, might seem obvious, but loot was no one compared to the sorrow of disappointing God and loved ones. Fire shields, figures, we had 2 fire users. It flashed green. Everything was green. A vine shot out the forest, wrapped around Max's ankle then submerged him in the water. Déjà vu, this kind of thing happened to him in a warehouse once. A Beiju hit him so hard he flew through the bottom of the universe out the top then made a hole in the ground, he was flung at a wall and Preston sent a huge drill through the black tail that made light shine out of it like a spike, it blew up then left sludge everywhere. God called off a potential rendezvous. Max was so angry, how did this keep happening? Max now had access to more power, but he used it wisely, he felt challenge was the greatest joy. The water started boiling. Max increased the temperature of his body to an infinitely hot skin warmth that would instantly incinerate anything that touched it, the vine however, wouldn't burn. Max allowed it so it would fling him back to the raft, he wouldn't have to swim. It was so hot, the blacktail yowled in pain apparently deep in the forest, flung him up then sent a Polaroid to its forehead like a lightning bolt, but no lightning, it ticked like a bomb then blew up, it became a pile of Polaroids that were a slideshow of what just happened, a chain formed where Max was in the air where the vine was like an upward diagonal line. Max stood on it, but a blacktail cut it with a sword and he toppled and he spun when he fell back onto his raft. How to make something from one thing 21. The team were fighting the vines with swords because fire resistance was up. Max kept a leash on his powers, so to speak. No point. Red again. They were getting closer to the waterfall. If it didn't go blue soon, they didn't know if they'd be able to survive the drop. The blacktails sent phoenixes, fire horses, fire snakes, etc. at Team All, but they honestly took it on the chin. Eliza healed the team with bandages she'd levitate then wrap around their arms. It's because she wasn't an offensive player, but more a magician that specialized in assistance and armor. The raft would get damaged, she was the one that patched and repaired it. Ishal was doing so much damage the blacktails changed their shields to ice. Fyro and Diamond let flurries and barrages of fireballs, fire crescents, and fire pillars fly at the blacktails. Only one raft left. There was fire everywhere, the heat was unbearable, even the damn water was on fire. Some blacktails were knocked into vortexes. Some were knocked into the rocks. We were about 100 feet away from the drop, but moving fast, man. Blue. Here we go, guys. Last time it went blue, the waters became so shaky and rocky that a huge wall of water divided them so they couldn't see each other. Max planned to use this time to force their rafts to touch, then they'd switch rafts before the drop. It happened. Diamond wore Eliza's gloves, then got the raft to go near the water wall by forcing all the water on the right side of the river toward them. As she couldn't see, she also simultaneously moved them closer to the middle, but only affecting the water near them because her powers were weakened a lot. She was hoping for a miracle, but voila! The rafts bumped into each other and Team All managed to switch their persons with the persons of the other raft. They were right next to the drop. They fell, but when they hit the craggy rocks, like a hologram, they passed right through. The blacktails, however, met a much more mean fate. Fucking God bless. Team All cheered and high-fived. They hooped, hooted and hollered. Good job, guys. We did it again. They got lots of gold, magic power, EXP, skills, and experience from this chapter. They hugged, smiled at each other with hope and fire in their eyes. Great job, team. Ishal said, with a quiet confidence, his blonde hair muddied with blood. Potioned healed, but didn't get rid of physical, aesthetic damage. In the first book, we had to heal at Golden Hotel, but now we can heal anywhere, kinda like how the real Golden Hotel or like Dark Academy is in our Halo, like a hanging toy in a baby's. So we end at the beach, happy. All Max's kids were grown-ups now. He waited between his last two children a lot longer. He pictured how the baby he was holding in that water looked in her crib with planets above her. The world was hers, the whole world, not just half. He kissed his babies. Susan and Diamond. Diamond fed her baby a sandwich. Magic. How lovely it was to eat in the ocean. Good job, babe. The way you made that chain so cool. How'd you know? Think of that, she said nicely, warmly, and kindly. Well, we felt, we intended or like purposed to have a nice vantage point of the space, but you saw the freaking freak knock us right off and comically onto the boat almost in slow-mo. Thanks for helping us though. I love you. Max said, weeping. He did a lot. I love you too, silly. Diamond said, crying. She had happy tears, she had a quiet confidence, a soft, and honest heart. They made out. Next scene please. Susan yelled. She stuck her tongue out with a peace sign, like a little anime baby. She had a tough, gentle, and adventurous tone. Well, you heard the baby. Chapter 11, Aerodynamic Dynamite. How to make something from one thing. 22 Team All was thousands of feet above ground, riding single-seat planes with some members on the wings. Some planes had 2 wings, others 4, some had propellers, others didn't. Max, if we don't do something soon, we'll just become the world's prettiest fireworks show. Our idea is that we get a ball to ricochet off all their planes, bet'll send them down in flames. If all else fails, we count our blessings, we all jump in the ocean. Jeter yelled to Max. Max was piloting Jeter while Fyro, Ishal, Diamond, and Oak were on the top two wings, not the bottom ones. There was no room. 100 planes versus 100 planes. 70 of ours were down. 30 of theirs were down. We were losing so much because we only had fire users, so they kept using fire shields. You can only imagine how meanly or like rudely this was going for us. Impolitely, to put it lightly. The remainder of our forces were more varied, but still, we were mainly fire-based. Maddie was gone. Max wept. She was a fire user. She got her powers in the Arctic when they had to build a fake golden hotel. She got her powers with Diamond, who looked like she was on her last legs. Sweetheart. We don't think we can do it. Diamond cried as she groaned the sentence out. Her stomach was bleeding. We were out of potions and there were no healing users around. Max made out with her, healed her, as he was the only one who could, then sent her back to the beach. His powers had limits, self-imposed, like he could only heal her if she left. Our planes were still going down like shooting stars, or like lightnings at night, or like leaves off trees. It was grim. Eventually, and not too long after, there were 2 planes left. Max's, and Abage's with Kyle, Preston, Icebert, and John. John was jumping from plane to plane, cutting the wings off, then jumping off before they sank so low he couldn't reach another plane. He jumped on a plane. Where do you goddamn motherfuckers get shit like this anyway? John yelled, teary-eyed, humorously, but seriously at the same time. Why the F should we tell you? You goody two-shoeses only exist to hurt, harm, attack, offend, be mean, and rude to us. The real, really nice, actually good, good people. The blacktail pilot replied. John was fighting the wing riders with his sword. The blacktail was angry and crying at first, but he got a lot angrier and louder. How the F do you come into our world? We didn't hurt anyone, we haven't killed anyone. We haven't harmed an effing fly. How do you come into our world? Start fights with us, always win. And not feel an ounce of shame. John was still attacking the riders. He was angry, but he didn't know what to say. What a weird and blatantly untrue, offensive, loaded, arrogant, preloaded question. He was glad God frustrated their intelligence and words, or he surely would have no clue how to make it through his lifetime. Listen here, you damn scumbag. We are nice human beings. You're hurt human beings. Pretend to be human beings. Kidnap human beings. You act poor but you're rich, to you. You think you're so damn clever when the narrator says we don't know what to say. Goddamn excuse us for being honest. What you said was so stupid, we fucking thought we'd fucking pass away. You'll pay for their damn blood. They didn't even lose any loot because they fell in the ocean. You know nothing. You understand nothing, and this is the last time we'll hear your ugly ass nonsense, so help me good God. John yelled this triumphantly, broken-heartedly, nicely, meanly, godly, and holily. He was fighting the blacktails the whole time. They got his life bar to halfway, but eventually he was able to cut the wings off the plane, but he also stole some loot. Then he jumped to another plane while that plane went down in how to make something from one thing 23 flames. Poor bastard, so misled. Blacktails didn't usually know how to swim. There wasn't any need to go after the pilots. They might put up a fight and there wasn't any need for unnecessary risks. So long, you fucking loser. John yelled from the top of another enemy plane. He was a fucking loser. What he said was true of himself, not us. For his insolence, death wasn't going to fucking be the end, unfortunately enough for him. Fyro had diamond water gloves. We were flying by some planes, attacking them, knocking the riders off the wings, using large vertical, crescent water blades. You morons should know your damn place, he'd yelled nicely, neatly, and confidently while swinging his arms for the water crescents. When you mess with the bull, you get the horns. Max. This idiots think we're afraid of him. Ha. Ha 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 ha. We didn't know it was comedy night at the damn Chuckle Club hut. Fucking fuck you. Fyro yelled while laughing, crying. He was confident, he was loud, proud, no one could fault him for his love of God, love, kindness, hope, family, beauty, friendship, wonderfulness, amazingness, etc. Max's eyes glowed, he was covered in it over his whole body, like light eyes, like stickers almost, or like metal plates, or like pins that glowed in front of him from his forehead down to the air in between his legs. His voice changed, you could hear his normal voice, but now he also sounded like kind of a demon, a deep, distorted voice was behind his, it boomed or like echoed like rolling thunder. It was gray clouds before, though it was blue skies before that, but now the sky was getting black, thunder crackled, boomed, and lightning bolts started striking the ocean at an alarming rate to the black tails. This is the end of your little folly parade, wicked. Max said with quiet confidence, he was ready to end this. Ishal and Iceberg froze some planes that fell. Oak hit some planes with his sequoia-sized and shaped baseball bat. Kyle sent drills, though some wings, so their aerodynamic failed and they fell. Preston followed suit with huge drills that cut the wings off the plane. Abejo flew around, knocking planes into other planes with large wings for wind. Poor planes, these were actual people. There was a special preliminary that allowed the planes to retain their loot if shot down. However, those who made it to the end got the loot for the game, and they weren't really allowed to share. Get him, Maxie. Show these damn fools we mean serious damn business. Kyle yelled while sending more huge drills at planes. He smiled, but he was serious, a fighter and a warrior at heart. If anyone can do it, it's you, Max. Preston yelled when he said you. He pushed forward, which sent 2 huge drills at planes toward him. The force he pushed at was about 400 pounds, he could feel the resistance in his arms. His tone was brave, a lion's heart, with the soul and spirit of a gladiator of ancient Rome, a true hero, a lover, and a dear friend, family member, and kind brother. Max, you have to channel the flora, groves, vines, plants, trees, fruits, vegetables, seeds, and crown shyness of your heart, squeeze it. Concentrate it. And just let those dragons fly, baby, yelled Oak. He was still hitting blacktails with that huge tree. His tone was compassionate, fiery, loving, hospitable, inviting, friendly, adventurous, and brave. Iceberg was black, over 6 feet, with a boxed afro and a ripped body. You got it, buddy. Our black brother. We love you, man. Thanks for everything. Let's go to the beach after this, huh? You know Susan's waiting. Iceberg yelled. He did an uppercut when he said waiting and knocked a plane out the sky with a huge ice mountain. It felt like 300 pounds of force on his arm. He said this brotherly, hopefully, with the tone of dragons and spirits, the timbre of a friend who helped make how to make something from one thing 24, a fake golden hotel, a man who was at his wedding, watched his kid, was way too good at Mario Kart, Yano, fucking, a true friend. Don't let us down now, man. We wish you could do what you did, Max. You saved Dark Mirror, you basically made it Light Mirror. Light Mirror. Ha ha, ha 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 ha, we like the sound of that. You're the son of dragons, Max. So don't be afraid to let your dragons flyyyy. Abejo yelled. A friend till the end. Max's favorite, the best, goat. His tone was reliable, comfortable, cozy, cute. No, we're fucking kidding. He was such a legend though. He was the goat. For him. And everyone, he had to do it right now. Max floated among the 20 planes left, glowing, covered in eyes, white, bright. The eyes had no detail, just the general football shape of an eye. Suddenly huge dragons like snakes came from the ocean, the clouds, the sides, diagonally, they came everywhere, rushing like jets. They were all blue, white, black, gray, silver, gold, red, green. They were like holograms in that they overlapped each other. They covered the sky. That huge area hundreds of feet by length and width was covered in dragons, fire fur, reptile scales. They moved faster all of a sudden like lighting going in and out of portals, so they just looked like lightning bolts, but if we played it in slow mo, we could see the beautiful majestic reptiles destroying the planes as they went through them. There was a sphere of portals with little crevices to see the world through. Team All was in the sphere. The dragons kept going through until all the planes fell. Team All cheered, hugged, high-fived, the dragons went back in their portals, the portals disappeared, and when the portals disappeared, the sky became blue. Next thing you knew they were at the beach. Good job, Daddy. Tell us, Daddy, how many dragons are there? Susan said with a kind, loving, soft, innocent, silly, beautiful curiosity. Honey, there's so many dragons only God knows, and our friends the jinns. Max said. Jinns were beings who looked like robots but were actually aliens. Their head was a sphere that constantly spun with brains like liquid plasma or like plasma lamps. Whoa! Susan said with a serious, wide-eyed, open-mouthed expression. Not smiling but just genuinely shocked and awed. And Daddy wants to give you a gift, Mommy. Diamond said kindly. Susan yelled in joy. It was a baby dragon. The fire was cool to the touch, it flew, it had cold scaly skin, it was her best friend. She cried, hugged her, they smiled, kissed. Max made out with his wife, he kissed his baby, and the scene of families playing at the beach having fun, screaming, laughing, yelling, making sandcastles, praying, reading, faded to black. Chapter 12, Burning Beards Runaway by Aurora inspired this next chapter. The music video is absolutely stunning, the snow is gorgeous, the song hits home. And I was running far away. Would I run off the world someday? Nobody knows, and I was dancing in the rain. I felt alive and I can't complain. We feel like in this world, where the edges of earth are like this, it's more than possible to run off the world. The music video shows such beautiful snow, beautiful scenery, and we feel more than any song inspires emotions of hope, adventure, wonder, anime, a black sky with planets, not just stars but planets, sirens, rain, a broken beautiful city. So this next chapter's that, a rainy anime city, planets in the night sky, a visit to the underside of Dark Mirror. It's a flat plane with nothing on it, feeding dogs in the rain, cigarettes. How to make something from one thing: 25 tears, game overs, fist fights, alcohol, sleep, the feeling of being in a relaxing, healing, potion, elixir. To be in a hot tub, is to be in our own soul. But no, take me home where I belong. I got no other place to go. No, take me home where I belong. I got no other place to go. No, take me home where I belong. I can't take it anymore. When snow falls, it falls upside down, it spins, it grows. When it stops growing, it realizes how much bigger it is than other snow. When leaves die, they become crunchy black snow leaves on the ground, or like puddles, wet, dirty, stepped on by those going to work, the gym, the coffee shop. We all have human beings we love. These human beings are like snow, like Aurora said. But I kept running for a soft place to fall, and I kept running for a soft place to fall, and I kept running for a soft place to fall, and I kept running for a soft place to fall. Snow still looks for a soft place to fall, so when it lands, it passes away peacefully. If we fall on a hard surface, we become what we touch. So if we've touched your heart, you're now an honorary member of Team All. Get all that? Max told Diamond with a quiet confidence. He was dictating a book to her. How to make something from nothing. This is how to make something from one thing. They were in Max's suite, the one where he read Tifios, played ocarina, where she cooked for him, where he played truth or dare with his friends. I run from the liars, the fuel on the fire. I know I created myself. I know I can't fight the sad days and bad nights, but I never asked for your help. You got hurt. No, we don't belong together, so you took the love from my arms into the arms of yours, but I don't need a cure for me, I don't need it, no, I don't need a cure for me, I don't need it, no, I don't need a cure for me. When we die, we become like snow, we grow ice flowers, fire flowers, like wind that won't stop, our heart keeps drowning in the effervescent love of what it is to be wounded by dark academia's fountain. Visit room DS15. The undying desire for movies is what makes butter sweeter. And our friends in fucking short, that's the cure for me. That sounded nice, sweetie. Listen, why's the world look like that now? It looks like we're so close to planets. We can see them, we know it's always night, but now there's color, we feel kinda scared. Diamond wept. She said this with a humorous, interested, apprehensive, curious timbre. Well, we heard a special event is happening, the other half of Dark Mirror is getting a gravitational field, so we'll have to check it out. Max said. He cried. He was apprehensive for Diamond's safety. He said this with quiet confidence, love, kindness, curiosity, and love. Susan was with Susan. She loved watching her little protege, they were the best of friends. What do you think our youngest is doing? Mama misses little under mommy. Sometimes we called moms under moms because we didn't know if God meant like don't call anyone dad nor mom. Diamond said this with a silly, goofy, cute, adorable, motherly, protective, confident tone. Well, hopefully she's still practicing her shapes. We know they were going to the beach again. Hopefully she gets to play with her friends again. The water's so blue at that beach, the heat rings like a faded view of the beach. Susan had the lunch you made her, she also has her daddy's heart, and her mama's amazing, wonderful, kind, nice, neat, swell, polite, honest, personality. They both clapped and cheered at the thought of their daughter living a nice, neat, swell, kind life on Dark Mirror. Snow was white. When white snow melts, it become clear water, but only because it forgot what it looked like. Like C2 said in Code Geass, do you know why snow's white? Because it's forgotten what color it's supposed to be. We'd argue again that the color snow is trying to be is actually crystal clear, like our how to make something from one thing. 26 Snowy, white, clear, watery, beating, red, candy, strawberry, heart-shaped sunglasses, glaring, beaming, reflective, black, Dark Mirror, Golden Hotel, well you get the point. Heart. It wouldn't stop raining. Now we saw regular human beings. Black tails too, but it seemed the human beings couldn't see them. We saw Japanese men smoking cigarettes under umbrellas, kids in raincoats like Suzuki from Ponyo. American businessmen in black and gray suits on phones in a hurry to get to somewhere. Work, food, friends, family, these were NPCs. The blacktails were basically demons, angels. Satan and them, they were everywhere. The darkest night seems bright when God lights it up, but remember, this was still a perpetual night, though it didn't seem the NPCs noticed. The sky was full of planets, stars, comets, but no one noticed. They probably only saw money. We saw a drunk woman intent or like purpose to feed a dog. She did. Nice dog. That was nice. Her house might have been filled. Apparently Susan was asleep at the beach with sunscreen all over, sunglasses, red skin, and an innocent silly, funny, plain open-mouthed expression. Atta babe. Sleep is key. We all know it. A fist fight broke out between men in front of a bar. Hey, well, why don't you mind your own effing business, buddy? Censored just cuz, but he actually cursed. Look. That's our girlfriend. So back the EFF up before it gets effing ugly, Paul. They fought went into traffic, cars started beeping, traffic was slow, people started getting out their cars to argue with the men. They fought so hard one man hit the other into a car, he pushed him on the car on the windshield and they broke it. The blacktails were scared at the sound, for they didn't know what it was. For some reason some became visible to the human beings and they got so scared. Oh shit. Max said. Him and Diamond knew they needed to intervene. He sounded worried and annoyed. Him and Diamond teleport to the scene and the human beings were kind of even more scared. Holy shit. Who the EFF are you guys? You friends with these fucking black freaks over here or what? The drunk fighter said. Slurred, fucking annoying, prejudiced. No, we came to stop them, Max said calmly, quietly, confidently, nicely, and a little stern and firm, but the listeners didn't care and just ran away screaming. One couldn't see the Golden Hotel from the outside world anymore, memories were manipulated, invisibility was used, like clear water or like white snow. The color of snow and water is primarily influenced by how they interact with light. Snow appears white because it reflects most of the sunlight that falls on it. Snow is made up of ice crystals, and the complex structure of these crystals scatters light in all directions, giving it a white appearance. Water, pure water, is actually colorless. Water molecules do not absorb light in the visible spectrum, so when light passes through water, it continues mostly unchanged, making it appear clear or transparent. Snow water, when snow melts, it turns into liquid water. The clear appearance of liquid water is due to the absence of impurities that might give it color. So, the snow water that results from melting snow retains the colorless characteristic of water. In essence, snow appears white due to light scattering by its complex structure, while water appears clear because it does not absorb light in the visible spectrum. When snow melts, it turns into water, which retains its clear appearance. God bless ChatGPT. How to make something from one thing 27 like this hotel. It was snow to us, but water to the NPC. It was a beautiful white, metaphorical element, of love and infinity, but to the NPCs, it was just plain ugly water, nothing special about it. Max hoped he never made Diamond feel like water. She was see-through, she was just a placeholder, she was a person, real, cold, falling slow to appreciate the beauty, gentle, delicious, like snow. Max did a kick straight up that knocked the blacktail out. They were both hovering over a car. We suppose to NPCs the scene was a normal blue sky cloudy day, but to the real, we saw the planets, the Golden Hotel, the blacktails, we saw the snow, but everyone else just saw the water. Diamond used a fire lasso to turn one of the blacktails to ash. Abijah sent one flying into a building, but Max fixed it after. He used the wings on his back to send a gust. Kyle used drills that were huge, to condescend, and to destroy 10 blacktails. Max fixed everything, then they confused everyone's memories so they couldn't remember what they just saw. Team all waved a cab. Kyle had to ride on top. To the edge of the earth please. Max said. He knew the driver heard to so and so route, like, to the mall please. To the nearest McDonald's please. Max said this with a happy wet tone. We was drenched from the rain. He dried everyone off with a huge flare including Kyle, for the heat went through the roof of the car and the light, but the driver couldn't see. So what brings you folks to the big city, huh? Tourists love the summertime, apparently the driver heard. Hi. We're new to the city, we were looking for a nice, neat, swell, polite, park to take photos and have a picnic. Any good ideas for where we might go? And apparently he heard it in a nice, neat, swell, polite, good, and great tone. Team all were talking to each other, but in pity to the driver, they talked to him too, but to them the conversation went yaai different compared to what this man heard. Kyle smiled on the roof, smoking, pitying people who were gullible enough to think the great Shogun Lagan had a monopoly on people who liked drills. When Max explicitly likes the show and credits it like everything else, he smiled that cold rain was warm to him, that night sky was filled with planets and stars. He never saw anything quite so ethereal, beautiful, surreal, before they knew it they arrived. There you go folks, the edge of Earth, said the driver. He even got out to welcome them. This is what they saw and heard, but in reality he said we hope you folks have a lot of fun. Thanks for telling us all those kangaroo facts. Thanks for the money too. Mr. Beast is surely a nice saint. We hope to visit the famous home of Finding Nemo soon, he wept. Nice, kind man, weak eyes, and a hard time on this damn rock, sweet man though. Well folks. The edge of Earth. It's been some time since we've been. Kyle said, laughing and smiling, a confident, nice, handsome, masculine man. The edge was filled to the brim with these mini river-like structures, rivers that started about 100 feet from the edge that fell into basically invisible portals at the bottom of the second half. Perhaps they fell forever. So we know we gotta take the waterfall to the other half. Preston said. He said, his hands resting behind his head, eye closed, confident, adventurous, neat, swell, polite. A real brother. A reliable man until the damned bitter end. Well, here goes nothing, they all basically said. Happy, loving, kind, fucking real. The waterfall took them like lightning to the other side of Dark Mirror. Everything was upside down, the water fell up, it looked different down here, the other half was so far, the how to make something from one thing 28 waterfalls fell far above them, out of sight. Like the tears of a golden hotel, they all felt a lot of pain and their life bars all dropped to 1. There were no decimals, they were surrounded by giant dragons. Pitch black, filled with blackness, there was no white here. They had wings. 4 legs, they screeched like terrible mean monsters. Max kissed Diamond, a golden hotel sprouted out the ground like a tree, slow but pretty fast considering how big it needed to be. In fact, it was only 1 floor, 'cause that's all we needed. Honey, we intend or like purpose to put you back so that you don't get hurt. Max said, and they both wept. Diamond agreed and she went to see the Susans, then the golden hotel retracted back in the ground. Okay team, all. Battle positions ready. Abeja yelled. He was a competent, reliable, dependable hero. They all teleport and hovered, they fought with fire, drills, wings, ice, snow, the beasts screeched or like howled as they fought, their life bars dropped slowly but surely. Max got caught under a talon and dragged across the insanely smooth metallic black surface, he bit the talon, the dragon howled in pain and let go while it flew away, they blew black fire. Kyle sent out a drill chain that went in and around a dragon, there were probably like 50. Take this, you goddamn son of a bitch. Kyle yelled. He punched a hole in the skull of one, but he couldn't pull his hand out, it swung its head and Kyle flew out while yelling, he hit the ground and rolled about 15 feet before stopping. Stay away from him, you godforsaken thigh-eating. Preston yelled, his arms extended out in front of him. He sent 2 huge drills he conjured in front of him at the dragon, the beast howled, its life bar was at red. Max faked a sneeze then sent lightning at it which killed it. Max lifted one using telekinesis and lifted another, then smacked them into each other. One hit Max with the back of his hand which sent him like lightning through the side of the universe back out the other side like a shoebox with 2 holes in it. Then he intended or like purposed to slow his momentum by hitting the surface, but he kept going round and round through the other half of the upper half like a hologram about an infinite amount of times until he stopped. His life bar hit 1 but he healed with a potion that deployed fucking automatically, fucking. Max levitated 1 then blew it up. You can't just push us around, Yano. When we fall, we goddamn get back you up. Abba yelled. As he yelled he sent wind tunnels with sharp arrowhead-like wind at the dragon, it looked blue or like white, they were about as thick as a person, they pierced so hard the beast howled loudly then was whirled away on a tornado until it was out of sight. Kyle and Preston fused into one being that was a man made of drills, he glowed, glittered, he was about 6 feet skinny, sharp, silver, gray, metal. Then a huge earthquake happened, it scared the demons and they started falling into the black void. You can't stop the power of love. When 2 brothers love each other, no one can stop them from doing the impossible. The very word itself says I'm possible. It's not about being the best, strongest, greatest, It's about helping God and helping those who can't help themselves. Disappear, they yelled as one brotherly, strong, great, best unit. They flew around flying through the dragons which instantly game overed them, then there was only one. We got this one, guys. Max was covered with the eyes again, he became a silhouette, white, skinny, beautiful, he kept getting skinnier until he was a circle, he was a thin white pole then became a ball all at once. He multiplied the dragon to hurt it faster then bounced like a pinball off all the dragons, until his ball was spinning against the dragon's face, it knew it was finished. Max kept going until its life bar reached 0. It happened in How to Make Something from One Thing 29 slow mo. Fast mo. Effing, even mid mo. Which was normal mo we suppose, he slowly morphed into a person again and landed elegantly on the broken black surface. Good job, guys. Max started, happy, proud, loving, then the space looked different, they could see the planets in the black night sky, they started to materialize in the dark mirror, black white lines and all, the city was gone, but the planets stayed, they were by the broken fountain, they were healed so they could teleport, they walked into Golden Hotel where Alex greeted them. Good job team all. Hot chocolate anyone, he said smiling, warmly, chocolatey. They graciously accepted and they chatted it up, they took the elevator Jesus fixed to the beach. Blue skies, kids, that blurry scene was crystal clear now, it was pretty, cute, beautiful. Daddy. We missed you. Tell us Daddy. They weren't dragons like Baba, were they? Susan asked, kind of fucking silly but yeah no, it was alright man. No ma'am. These were some serious meanies. Max kissed her a lot. Did you give mommy an easy time? Max said nicely, neatly, fatherly. Baba blew blue fire on him, blue celestial navy cosmic flames on his beard, cold like ice. Yes sir. We love you Daddy. We played with Janet. She had all these cool dolls. We also played with Jessica and Stacy, we built a huge sandcastle. So big we could go inside. We also played with some Legos and did some alphabet stuff. Susan said, lovely, perfect, nice, beautiful, flawless. Her dad complimented her a lot. He made out with his wife, and they played with the families on the beach. Blue skies are blue because they know what color they are, we're proud of our black skin, white people should be proud of their white skin, brown people should be proud of their brown skin. When we love celestials, we're like Baba, little baby dragons raising and being raised by other little baby dragons. The sky is infinite like Dragon Ball told us, much love, God bless, and rest in peace Akira, from Max, Susan, Diamond, Baba, and all of Team All. Chapter 13, The End. I felt this was a nice length for this book, I intended or like purposed to upload it to YouTube, so hopefully we'll see you in the sequel. Thanks for reading and God bless.